Hey everyone, I'm Steve from GamersNexus.net. We're here at GDC 2016. This is our final coverage of the show, and we're joined by Torn Banner talking about Mirage. Before getting to this content, all of the coverage is brought to you by Raw Fury's Goner platformer game, which you can see on the screen now. So, Steve, you worked on way back on Age of Chivalry, right? Yep. And then Chivalry Medieval Warfare. Mm-hmm. Who can give me a top level of Mirage here?
Well, Chivalry was basically medieval combat. It was about sword fighting, right? And Mirage is kind of a spiritual successor to Chivalry in a certain sense, where it still has that sword fighting at its core, but on top of that, we've added in magic combat. And we've really integrated those systems together so that it actually, hopefully, feels like a sword fight from 20 feet away. And what I mean by that is that you can block every projectile, every action, and it's all reactable gameplay that still feels like you're dueling people.
Very cool. And Alex, what's the thing that you most look forward to telling people about with Mirage? What's sort of the thing that you think gets people hooked immediately?
I think it really all comes down to the combat and the mechanics we built into it that, players of Chivalry will really be reminded of is, the strength of the melee combat and just how focused it is on having control, just like in Chivalry, over your weapon. But now we're adding that into magic casting. So, you can block any magic attack from afar, and you can also read combat scenarios in the same way that you could in our last game. But it becomes that much more crucial when these massive magical spells are coming across the screen, blowing people's bodies into smithereens. It becomes so exciting and so much of a raw, almost emotional experience to play the game.
Right, and so that's actually something I wanted to talk about. On the design side, when we were talking pre-interview here, it sounds there's a real commitment to psychology with game design. So talking about this idea of telegraphing attacks, what does telegraphing an attack mean?
Well, what it means is it means making the gameplay reactable, which means that we want to promote counterplay, so that I have to pay very close attention to what you're doing. What we're really talking about is making it about human beings fighting. We're using magic to do that, but we still want it to feel like a very personal, martial arts inspired kind of combat. One of the things we like to say is that we're almost kind of taking some of the fighting game mechanics and bringing that into an FPS multiplayer experience.
And the mechanics here, so for Mirage, there are how many abilities and how do we use them in the game?
So yeah, there's 6 different character classes that you play as in the game. And each class is really built according to a different play style. And each character class has got 3 different slots that they can fit a variety of different spells into. So ranging from defensive spells to evasive spells to spells that will literally tear your body in half. There's a variety of different ways to play with magic in the game. And it's magic also that has a real force to it, which is something we're really trying in Mirage, is magic that doesn't feel like fairy dust. This is like throwing a brick at someone's face when you kill them. And it's gonna really feel so satisfying when you get into a really skill-based duel with someone and then you finish that duel by ragdolling them across the screen and just seeing that it work. It's really satisfying.
And one of the cool things we saw on that front was in the demo you had a guy doing sort of a death from above attack on a group of 3 clustered players. And it looked like there was sort of a physics interaction there. Could you describe for everyone what was going on? What was the setup?
Sure, yeah. Well, one of the things that makes players feel powerful in the game is that they're actually able to combo their abilities together. So what we saw in that instance was someone leap into the air, slam down, and when he did that slam, it hits with so much force that it actually pulls those people nearby in close to him, and then he immediately followed it up with a whirlwind attack that allows him to attack all around and basically just devastate 3 people all at once, which is what competitive multiplayer gaming is about.
Absolutely, that was the next point. So competitive multiplayer gaming we were talking about how it's all about this idea of, one, understanding why you die, yes, if you do die, because that's probably, would you agree, is one of the most frustrating parts.
Absolutely.
So how do you deal with that?
Well, I think generally that dying is usually the worst moment in competitive gaming because it's losing, right? And we do some things to try and take away the sting of that. One of the things is we give moments of anticipation where basically you see someone up above you and they're about to slam down, and you recognize that your action so far you kind of screwed up, and you have to kind of accept your fate at that point because you're about to be blasted into smithereens. And so we found that people, on top of the violence of it, which adds in some humor, so basically people have something to laugh at even when they die.
It's also a game where, this is a beautiful, serene, and at first calm-looking world where you're looking at these beautiful desert sands and these polished palaces of marble. And then all of a sudden, everything is going to be covered in blood and guts. And it's sort of an art style that we've been able to build using Unreal Engine 4, which, you know, as a small team, we're like 23 guys. And we're able to make a big, you know, a game that feels big.
Yeah, Unreal Engine 4 definitely a major enabler in creating AAA-looking titles. So wrapping up here with housekeeping stuff, is there a target tentative release date, price, anything like that right now?
Yeah, we've got, so basically, first of all, the game is a more traditional style. It's $30 and you're done. That's the way it works. And we just announced a week or two ago, but we're on a very condensed schedule. So the game is going to launch later this year. There's a beta in the summer. And then if you're at PAX East, we're going to be there playing the game with people hands-on for the first time. So there's a lot going on for us.
Yeah, it's going to be a really exciting year ahead of us. Can't wait for PAX East. Can't wait for beta in the summer as well, for all our fans to get their hands on it and just see what they can destroy in this world.
Absolutely. So we will be at PAX East, and we'll definitely continue coverage at that point. If you're interested in learning more about Mirage, hit links in the description below where we've got full article coverage. And thank you for watching. We'll see you all next time.